Call the meeting of the Newbury Historical Commission to order at 7:12. This is November 9th. All please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't know why I sit on this side. I always have rolling problems.
Okay, everybody pull out. You've got 2 months of minutes to go over. Anybody yell out if you found anything?
Oh, I was in Chicago.
Remember, you cannot approve the minutes you were not at the meeting for.
Good point. I won't read that. Well, I should see what went on. Actually, I think I read it to see what went on. But back when. Well, that's right. That was the town day too. Oh, really? We didn't have a quorum up there, I wasn't there.
You have to have 4.
There's 5 names.
That's 4.
I'm confused.
Okay, we'll do September's minutes of the meetings first. One will abstain. Do you have any corrections, omissions, or errors on September's minutes of meetings?
I do not see any.
Jan, will you make a motion?
I make a motion we accept the September minutes as written.
Second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Done. Okay, October minutes. Any errors, omissions, or changes? Jan?
Make a motion we accept the minutes as written.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Done. All right, treasurer's report.
Uh-oh. Pass me.
Is this the one?
That's it. Okay. Okay, treasurer's report. So I've got an update on November 2nd, so these are, all numbers are good. Except for, well, let's just go through it first. So we have about a $900 balance, not accounting the fact that we're gonna have to have money for the restroom out by the schoolhouse in May and June of next year. So there's $900 of uncommitted money yet. Gifts and donations hasn't changed. There's $23.17 and 16 cents there, and the donations still have not been recorded. I'll talk about that at the end. Let's see, we carried our unexpended special article fund forward again this year, and that's showing up on the books and everything's fine there. So we have total between the three accounts, money that we can spend, a total of $6,849, and the books at Town Hall show $7,574.32, except that's not what they show. But that's what they should show. So I found out why we've got a discrepancy. They haven't closed the books yet on last year.
On fiscal
So,
23.
yeah, 23, and I guess in Eileen's back and helping the person that's there doing this now, and they said they'll get it finished up. Once that gets fixed up, then hopefully my numbers will agree with their numbers. So that's why things haven't been appearing, because it's not done yet.
Interesting.
So they're working on finishing it up. And that's that it? Yeah, I think that's it for the thing. So, yeah, that was one thing. Last time I was going to Town Hall to straighten out the differences between of the two budgets. And now, but the balance that they had at close is what I have in here at close.
Okay.
So when they carry it forward, the numbers will be correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the treasurer's report.
All right, entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I move that we accept the treasurer's report.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What else was there?
Okay, website report.
We are pretty much good to go. I just need to meet with the gentleman so he can walk me through it. And he was busy today,
Okay.
so I was like, when I drop off the camera, can we like sync up a tape? And he said, yeah. So I will do that on Monday when I drop it off. But
So-
otherwise, it'll be, I'll transfer it over to the new one, and then I'll just be able to update the new one whenever we get new stuff.
Are you gonna build like a 3-ring binder, a manual of,
It's really only gonna be like probably one page of like logins and stuff, and I'm gonna have, like it's right
so
there.
at least we have an idea of
Yes.
what we're supposed to do if you run away to
If I,
Switzerland?
or if I get hit by a train, yes.
Or if you hit the lottery.
Well, if I hit the lottery, I might still hang out, but that's a different story.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right, correspondence, please.
I looked up from last month, we had the update on the materials list that came from the, like the Parks Department
National
instead
Park
of the
Service,
National.
yeah.
But if you read it,
They reference the
they
Department of Interior.
reference that it's the
Yeah.
Department of
Well,
Interior.
they're actually part of the
so-
Department of Interior.
Yeah, so we were concerned about, who was really telling us this information. So they, I looked and that was clarified, and I did look up some of the stuff, and I will print what is,
This was in reference to last month, we talked about,
the changes to do with materials, because think you
modern,
get,
accepted
Accepted
modern
materials.
materials
Yeah.
usage.
Yeah.
Okay, so last month we spoke about new lists or procedures from
National Parks.
National Parks, which is where the Department of the Interior is from, right?
Under.
Well, the other way around.
They're,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're looking at now is trying to get ahead of the game and understand accepted materials for restoration and work in 2023 going forward, and some of the changes that are now acceptable, which possibly in the past were not, i.e. cedar shingles are now finally. Composite now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when things come up like that, so now, did you find reference material, or how do we find this? So where did you,
Department of Interior.
so is it reduced down into something we can use, or
Like, is there
is there a manual or anything?
Well, they had the manual, and we all have a copy of it.
Mhm.
It shows like a building on the front.
yeah, the binder, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we have a binder. So what they did is they changed the section for acceptable materials, but they basically didn't change the entire binder.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Just
so
that
you just pull that
particular,
out and pop a new one in.
yeah, but they didn't quite do it that way,
Oh,
because before they didn't have
Yeah.
acceptable replacement material, so to speak. Now they're trying to recognize the fact, obviously, that you can't get, like you said before, like old growth, this or that. Things are not available. People can't afford some of the stuff now because it's exorbitant.
Right.
But they want their houses to still look, period, even though
Right.
they can't afford, period. So
So is there
Plastics
something that we can
is
print
not
off and put in our
cheap either.
binders?
I will see how to reduce it so that it is not gigantic, because I don't think it's really huge. It's mostly just another section.
Yeah, so is it
So-
like 40 pages, or is it?
I will print
yeah.
them, I will print one and copy them at town hall, but, I did not do it for tonight.
No problem.
Totally fine, yeah. That's intriguing.
Yeah, it's very interesting, because I was rereading that email, the thing that came by email and saying, yeah, okay, because obviously, there's a lot of things going on in the Massachusetts press, lots of communication about this stuff now. I don't know if you guys ever signed up for it, but
Not sure.
there's tons of communication going on about materials and what we could use now, and who's
Yeah.
doing what, and what town is accepting what. And the biggest thing that's the huge problem right now are the mini splits.
I hate
Yep.
them.
Ah.
I hate them.
So being put on like street view,
Yep.
or they're being put on the ground, and that's not legal. They're supposed to be X number
Yeah.
of feet above the ground. They're not supposed to be on certain
Mounted,
materials and all this stuff. So everybody's, this is, all the cities and towns in the Commonwealth are talking about mini splits. There's like 15, 20 at least emails from different cities, and then some of them are all streams from people going back on it, so.
I really wish they could design them to make them not be so.
Well, one
Ugly.
Yeah,
place, they
basically.
put them on the,
I've seen them on
What do you
roofs,
call
I've seen
those
them like
things?
awkwardly placed on the sides of like fireplace chimneys, and like, they just
yeah,
look
well,
awful.
the metal things that you come down if it's an
Gutters?
emergency.
Oh, like
Oh.
a fire escape?
Yes, thank you. The word escaped
The
me.
metal-
Yeah.
They're putting them on one building, a city, like a city building, they put them on a.
On the fire escapes?
On the fire
the
escape, or like a
firemen love that.
museum or something, I'm like, and then people are now talking about, well, where's the fire, where's
Yeah.
your fire inspectors allowing that, what happens if there's a fire, now there's a mini split in the middle of, I'm like, okay, I'm not getting involved in this.
No.
And then the other big topic is demolition delay bylaws. So it's a huge topic right now, back and forth. I mean, every day I see more and
Well, I'm
more.
sure.
What subject matter under?
Well, some cities and towns have never had one, and now they're all getting so many developers in that everybody's getting like really stressed
Oh.
out because they're starting to lose buildings, they're starting to lose properties, and then other people are offering information that they're defining, like this one right here, it says, we're in the process of drafting a demolition delay, and this is in Harvard, Mass. And it's, you know, so he's worried about what substantial demolition and, you know, wording that developers are gonna try to get around. They're all, and everybody's now getting in on this because some people have had them for years, but now it's becoming rampant that they're all, developers are swarming all these empty spaces now
Yeah.
to try to,
Is there any consensus out there for the delay period?
a lot of people keep saying the longer the better because
Yeah.
you have a better chance of,
Discouraging?
well, you know, because a lot of people are trying to get historic things and on the buildings, so like the Historic District Study Committee, they're
Yeah.
trying to get historic districts formed, they're trying to get restrictions put on these properties so that they can't
Ever
do
be
it.
turned into a
So they don't have to
development?
worry about them being torn down, and
Yeah.
so it's an interesting
It's encouraging.
maze of,
Property owner can do it
Information.
too. They could go in and put an easement
Yeah.
on there, or a restriction on there.
right, but people don't think about this.
I mean, no,
In a
but
general,
that's where,
you know-
so you've
Yeah.
got groups that are going around talking to them, probably.
Right.
Trying to encourage
So there
them.
was different things that some of the information just really interesting, and it's, there's a ton of it. I did not print it all out, so we'd be here for 30 years. But there's a lot of information flying around for that, so that's a big topic right now. And then, ironically, the book that we got donated at the schoolhouse,
The old book?
Yeah,
the sketch of the history of Newburyport. The guy wouldn't sign the thing because he said he said, nobody in my family even knows I have it. I bought it and I just donated it. And I'm
Right.
like, he happened to come in this summer, right?
He did.
Well, actually in the fall. And he said, oh yeah, I never did that form thing for you. And I went, yeah, we really, in case your heirs decide that they might want this or something. He started laughing. He said, I'll send it to you. So
So
we
he
did.
did?
oh, good.
So it's legally ours now, so that was good. So that took care of him. He was funny. Came in to give me gloves in case we needed them to touch it.
You're like, we have a whole case of those.
I know, well, that's all right. So there's a lot of things that are like that are flying around, so it's nice that he cared enough to do that, make sure that it went to us
No, I
and all of that.
was psyched
so.
when he came in.
Yes.
Like, what are the chances someone just like randomly?
And then, of course, the
Something like that.
next big nightmare is gonna be the pink house.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of shocked me when I saw that online.
That didn't shock me at all.
It just, every time I go by, it looks worse. It's so sad.
Yeah.
It is very, very sad. And I mean, whether you like it or not, whether you care or not, or whatever, I feel badly that the people who were trying to save it
Yeah, Rochelle worked
Couldn't do
really
it.
hard on
worked
that.
really hard and were very creative in trying to find people and try to get that secured. And then I'm looking at these articles in the paper that are people who have no idea how long this has been going on and what it's been all about. And they say things like, well, why didn't,
Why didn't they try to save it?
Why didn't-
Yeah.
why
You're like,
didn't they-
Oh, right.
why didn't they use it?
Yeah.
Well, because it's full of asbestos and lead paint. So the department of the
not
government
gonna
was
go in and
not
clean it
gonna
up.
go through and spend all that money for this.
Yeah.
Because originally they were gonna have their interns there. Because the house was already there, so they figured they might as well just use it. But then they found this out. So when they go to, it's gonna end up being torn down, I think they're totally out of.
Yeah, what happened?
Well, the land swap fell through, and then at
Why?
that point,
Twice.
and I don't know why specifically. Like, what was the reasoning that they didn't want to do it?
The second one fell, the second one
I
was,
withdrew the property,
they, you
Right.
know,
the offer.
yeah, so, I mean,
It was like 500 acres in here.
It was kind of outrageous.
and
I mean, I think
the last
personally,
one was from was like, I forget where it was from, but it was like from, Minnesota or something, the person that they were in contact with, it was
oh,
like.
really,
Yeah.
Like,
I think
what?
people would have still been mad if the house got renovated and a family was living there. Like, there'd be people that were mad on both sides. Of the
Yeah,
line.
because then it's like, because I guess people are saying, somebody else bought it, would they keep it pink? And it's like,
Yeah,
it's
I
just gonna
wasn't
be an
crazy about the
issue.
glass and chrome deck enclosure.
Yeah. Well,
The
yeah.
front,
No, it was on the back, but you could still see it from the street.
Yeah,
It was
like the
gonna be
addition that
The
they were
stainless
gonna-
steel posts with the Lexan panels.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know.
A little modern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know, do they say what the timeline was for it to be demoed, or are they just kind of dangling the,
they,
it's
well, they
gonna
have
be
a
demoed?
meeting at Pitta Hall.
November 30th, is it?
I have info. Yes, I'm not-
For the discussion though, right? Like, it's not like there's
It's-
a date.
well,
to
I-
the demo.
everybody-
Well,
No, it's a
ironically,
It sounded like they were all ready to push it over.
the discussion
And
is
then-
with
and then they
Senator
got
Tar's
called
office.
back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good luck to that then. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like they've already done all these things and like, just kicking the can down the road like one last time.
They are, but it's a hot button issue.
Oh, we're gonna hear about this for decades probably afterwards.
There is a meeting on the 20th of November from 11:30 to, from 10:30 to 11:30, which is a Monday, 20th, at Pitta Hall, with Senator Tar's office, along with Matt Hillman, who is part of the Parker River National Wildlife, and they're going to field conversation and questions about the Pink House. So, because they know it's a hot topic,
right.
and nobody's gonna just pretend it's not happening, so. They have a list of questions on their website,
Oh, yeah, I've seen,
you know, so.
I've seen all the stuff
And then
on
all the
Facebook.
articles that have been in the paper, but it's funny because some of the people, the comments in the paper, people don't know that the thing is, it's full of lead paint and it's full of asbestos. So they're like, I don't know why they didn't just use it. Well, maybe you should ask the question, why didn't they just
Yeah,
use it
right.
instead of condemning that they didn't even try to?
Yes,
because
they just let it
don't-
rot.
They don't know. So it's gonna be interesting. So we got our deed of gift, we've got the
It won't take
Pintos.
much to knock it over.
Oh, no, it's gonna be like the tiniest bulldozer.
probably
It's all
do
it's
it
gonna
with my
need.
car.
Yeah, it's gonna look weird and it's gonna be strange, and then the irony is that they're talking about building a platform out there for
Yeah.
visitors, which is then gonna bring
Cars.
more traffic.
That's all I could think was that across from Bob's Lobster, people are gonna be walking across right there now to
Oh,
the, to
yeah.
Yeah.
the spot, and that's gonna be making people,
Like me, who's
Not-
trying to get home.
well,
or
just like
get
that's
off
not a
the
spot for
island,
people to be
crazy.
crossing, and so, you know,
We'll see what happens. It's
hopefully no one gets run over.
Like everything
That was my
else,
first
it's
thought,
gonna-
I was like, oop,
I
someone's
almost
gonna get
had-
run
I almost had
over.
a deer coming here tonight. If he hadn't been running, I would have hit him at about 45, 46 miles an hour
Ooh, that's not good, that's not
in my
good.
little car.
My
But
neighbors,
he was running because he.
He would crush
just
you in
Came
your little
into
car.
view and there was nothing I could do. It was from here to the corner.
You should probably put those little wheel, like,
the
the
whistles.
whistle things, so
The
when
deer
you're
whistles.
driving, it scares
Oh,
them
because my
away.
car, well, I've got lights.
Yeah.
You know, you can see
I
the
know,
lights.
dude.
He was,
A good sized deer hit that thing, you'd be.
oh, I know.
There was-
Oh,
there
and
was
it's
a
all windshield.
bear
You come right
sighting
through the
in my
windshield on me.
Oh, yeah.
A bear.
We just have coyotes in a cave.
Have you seen
I saw
any
my
other-
first chipmunk ever on the island.
I have like
I haven't
100 of
seen
them.
any
You can have them
Okay,
out
we're
off my.
deteriorating.
All right.
All right.
So we
Keep
got
moving.
another
Okay.
email from Dennis Palazzo, who has consented to be the veteran grave officer for the town of Newbury. And he's trying to find out what his responsibilities are supposed to be, and he's asking us.
Wait a minute,
What's his name?
he's veteran grave officer? So
Yeah.
like he's gonna,
Oh, for vets only?
was I was checking, is it like for vets, or is it just like to check out all of the cemeteries and all the stones?
It's for the veterans, literally the veterans' graves,
Okay.
to make sure that they're taking.
So they have like
care of
flags and everything looks
Yeah.
right? Okay, that's
What's
what I was
So
trying to figure it out.
his name
basically-
again?
Dennis Palazzo, Palazzo.
Okay.
And he said, I realize Veterans Day is Saturdays, can someone contact me to try to salvage the holiday?
Oh.
I don't know how anybody can salvage the holiday from Monday to now.
What is, oh, I don't know, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know what,
Well, usually,
So-
who puts, Boy
I
Scouts?
would think the Boy
put 'em out?
Scouts put the flags
Yeah.
out.
Boy Scouts
Well,
or American Legion?
I told him
Maybe
we were
we-
having a meeting
Boy-
tonight, and I
Boy-
would check with
Boy
the
Scouts may
members.
do it for them.
Yeah.
And I also told him that he should look at the Veteran Services website, on the town website, with the names there. And he should also talk to Bill DeMayo.
Well, and what about what's his name?
Jarvis?
Jarvis.
Jarvis, yeah, he would
Jarvis
know
would
about
have all
it.
the answers.
And all those books we have of who's buried where, don't they have like veteran or something like, something, aren't they, isn't the individual
Marked,
identified
Yeah.
in the book?
probably.
The books is Town Hall has of all the burials?
Yeah.
Well, the ones we have at the schoolhouse, you know, for Evergreen and for,
Yeah, and there, it's also at the Town Hall, it's also at the library,
Yeah.
that book,
Oh, okay,
everything's
yeah.
there. So,
I don't know.
I will see, I don't know if he's contacted anybody else, but that was the 7th that I sent a reply to this, and this is the 9th, I haven't heard anything from him.
I'll just shoot those answers to them. We don't have anything.
Yeah, it's not
So-
something we do, so.
You know. But I did try to give him 2 other places to go to, and,
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would have told him to contact us either, so that's where I
Because we
get-
have $5,000.
We're just all things, yeah.
Now-
All things old.
We're all
now-
things.
Now the clothes.
I know.
We got a postcard
Yes.
from Blackburn Building Conservation LLC. I believe I've seen this before, but it's all about restoring window and architectural features. So,
Oh,
Thank
windows.
you. Yeah,
windows. So, I made a photocopy of it, so I'll have it.
Boy, I wish we could do those windows. I wish
before they
just-
did themselves.
I wish they had just done it. Brought it to a meeting.
Apologize later.
As a surprise to you guys.
Nice house.
Well, that would,
If I had to pay it, I'd pay it.
And then we had the email about the photos of the green beach. You sent the guy.
That's,
gentleman.
what's his name on the corner, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I sent him a whole bunch of stuff.
Barry,
Yeah, Barry.
R.J. Barry.
I sent him I had a bunch of other stuff I sent to him, and I had a higher resolution picture. Oh, I sent him that too.
Yeah.
And I had a higher resolution picture of that one coming into the Seddon Tavern there. I sent him that,
Yeah.
but that's all I had.
Yeah, he was just looking to see if he could find a higher one from, than the ones that are on the
Yeah.
365th
And-
website.
And we found one, and he says it's good enough for what he wants to do.
Yeah.
That he can blow it
So
up.
that was good. It's always good if you can make somebody happy. So the Pink House did, Sudbury request for proposal. Oh, yeah, that, I want to show you that one. Hanover Street. There's no houses. So Hanover Street. I mean, there's 10 Kent Way and 1 Hanover Street. That are-
So 10 Kent Way, new land, purchased the house of used to be, I assume it used to be the nursery school.
Oh, okay.
Mrs., what was her name? I should know.
Byfield?
Yeah.
Byfield, yeah.
Anyhow,
It's not, it's the sign on front of it says pending.
yeah,
Sale pending.
I haven't gone down yet, but that's gotta be the house. So, so they wanted to know what at hours before the signing, they wanted to know what the restrictions were
I was
gonna
gonna
be
say,
on
is
it.
that, well, how old's that house?
It's for, some pieces of it are first period,
Oh,
but it's an addition on an addition on an addition.
yeah, okay.
It's a 2-family now. And it's got a big barn,
Yeah.
garage, big barn looking garage.
So,
No, I don't.
it seemed to be a whole bunch of to-do about nothing, but it was a good dry fire drill for us as far as getting these rushed inquiries, needing things answered immediately over the phone. So we've cleared up, Jan and I have cleared up how this needs to go through inspection services. And we don't field things over the telephone in an hour. So, and a lot of our information is on the town part of our website, and that's how it's done. Because they were trying to say, they were contacting the building inspector's office saying it was an emergency. So that was that, but since then, she's basically saying she loves antique houses, and, but I think they want to put a garage or a barn or do something on it. I
They
don't
want
know.
to, well, they want it to be, they're gonna sell things there, cars.
Cars?
It's surrounded by a swamp, isn't it?
It's pretty, see, now I can see some oldness to it.
Hmm.
The main house definitely has some
Yeah.
cute features.
That's
They
the
wanna
one
add a
set-
barn to it?
Set way back in the woods,
It's
right?
1658 originally, so it's pretty darn old, so,
Wow, how much was that?
yeah. So, and then, it's the last thing you go
Yeah,
past
it's deep,
before you
when,
get.
yeah, it's like the
before you get to town
long
hall.
driveway.
So somebody's already worked on it.
Oh, yeah, oops.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at it. It's a nice property when you like,
I haven't been in there.
Is it off to the left?
when you drive down, no, the driveway's to the right. Like it's, you don't even, almost don't even see it,
Always-
because it's this dark, long driveway.
Always,
Oh,
the
that's-
left-hand side of the road are odd numbers, and the right-hand side of the road are even numbers when you go down a street.
That's
I'm
totally
27 and I'm
weird.
on the right, because I drive towards Georgetown.
But where does it start?
Oh, you're right, at 1 at Georgetown going that way, so that, you're right.
Isn't that
You're right.
funky?
So that's
I
already
know.
been totally
Yeah,
redone.
yeah, totally.
Let's see.
It's beautiful.
So she
Oh, that's
called,
a
I
neat
guess, she
place.
called and she talked to Chrissy and said, I need to
You
go right now.
can't see it from the road.
And
you
I'm
said
like,
No,
that.
it's pretty set apart, yeah.
And
We
then
don't
they-
have any information on
That's a neat
zoning
house.
for
The setback.
business.
Yeah, it's
What
really
is
far
it?
back.
It's quite a ways back.
Oh, yeah. You see the picture?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And it's got, I go scrolling through it, it's, a couple old.
She believes it's a commercial property that is an antique building about 1658. And she said, and Chrissy's
Like
saying to me, I don't
1982.
have her address on my list. Well, that's because it's only on the,
Good fireplace.
it's not on
She's confusing the
Macris.
terminology. It's a residential
Beautiful.
house in a commercial/residential
She-
district.
Yeah.
She wants to put up a garage for storage of antique cars and run her husband's commercial, some type of trucking business out of the property.
Well, that has
Ooh.
nothing to do with
I said, and
us.
that's got nothing to do
That's
with
all,
us.
yeah.
We don't do
Interesting.
zoning.
Yeah.
So, and plus I didn't see this until 4 o'clock. I mean, we're not an 8 to 4 group.
Yeah.
So we can't do this
We meet monthly
emergency
and can't
stuff.
make decisions without a public meeting.
And back to what I was saying earlier,
make
is
decisions
it's gotta
in
come
one.
before us in an application. Has to be procedure done. So
I mean, she
what-
definitely has a lot of space back here.
That was all forest before, they took all the trees down.
Yeah.
Don't pick on forest.
Forest.
Don't be picking on a forest.
What was the other one?
What other one? One Hanover.
One Hanover.
One Hanover.
What is One Hanover? I have to
One
love it.
Hanover is it's right across from the ball field.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's a white
It's
house.
right on the corner. It was the
Oh,
Parsons,
the
I
one that was just
believe.
redone?
On the corner or the
Right,
one,
on the corner.
oh, the one up?
No.
There's a lot of white houses on that.
I know.
It's
And
right,
only
right
one
on the
is
corner
on
of
the
High
corner.
Road.
So I'm saying, the one that was just redone though,
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they did
it's
some
on the
work.
southwest corner of the
We've
intersection.
been working on that for 5 years.
Yeah, a while. Okay.
I don't- Maybe not the same owner. but
Right. I would think so after all that effort. What do they want to do in that one?
That was all interior work, though, wasn't it?
No, they did
Well,
a,
but they.
No, I mean, what they're asking about
There
now.
was
Back
one
of it,
little
the block
thing
was still-
slipped in there that did not stand out because it was kind of just part of a sentence. And that they're doing, renovating the attic to create storage with sheet rocking, insulation, electrical, and HVAC. Exit to the stairwell to the attic will be retained. I read all this at the last meeting. And then replacing all windows.
Ah,
Oh,
So I said to her, when I replied to inspectional services, I'm concerned about the windows, but it got approved anyway, and now the question is, so I took pictures, and there hasn't been anything done to this house that I,
oh, so that's not the same house that I'm thinking of.
No.
That's one back from that corner house that had a lot of work done. looking at
Which-
this, looking
when you
at
say
it.
So
what is
there's
back?
nothing
One more, further up.
like
Hanover,
west?
special. I
Further
don't-
deep
about these
into the,
windows.
Into Hanover.
yeah, because like I was thinking
Isn't
it
that the one
was,
You were talking
Go out
about
the foundation in the
ventilations or
back and-
something?
no, that's what I was thinking of.
Was, that was, that,
So-
isn't that the one?
I don't
That's
think
number
so.
one.
The
No,
next-
that's the one that's up one. The
Well,
one that's over
my
here.
statement
Yeah.
in general.
The next
That
one
was
in
also
Hanover is
Antique
huge.
house
It's a
facing the
big
common,
house.
I don't
That-
want
That one.
replacement windows
Right, I'm just
put
saying.
into the antique house facing the
It's,
common.
So I
it's
don't
marking
know.
it weird, because it's labeling that one.
There's the one.
That's
That's what,
one.
I went
that's the
in
one we're
today,
talking
Peter's
about.
not
That's what I
there
thought.
until
We were,
Tuesday,
I,
and
that's the one. on
And that's the one in
corner.
the corner.
That's not one?
I
I don't know.
told them we were very not, we were
She
very
says it's the one on the
unhappy.
corner.
Yeah, so
It
it's
is-
gotta be this one.
One is the first house
Okay, I know, well,
on,
just Google's telling
Well,
you.
we
no,
know.
no, when you go to, when you're, you come off 1A, right?
Yeah.
And head to the, so now the green is on your
Yeah.
right,
Yep.
it's the first house in the corner.
Right
So
on the
that-
corner.
Right.
Even though
This is-
that's also on High Road.
Right, but its front door
But the
is
front door on
on
the driveway is
Hanover.
on Hanover.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
Okay,
this
so that's
first
the
house
one.
there.
That's
Then
the one
there's
they've been
another house
working
that
on
has the,
forever.
what do you call that, a moon gate, I
Yep,
believe?
Yeah,
yep.
And
that's the
then
next one.
the next house then after that is 5.
Yeah,
The
okay,
really, really old one that we get concerned about.
right, okay.
So that's, and then you're at the corner.
So they
That's
wanna
all
do
there is
replacement
right
windows
there.
in this house after that giant renovation? That
Wow.
that seems crazy to me.
But I don't
Well,
know
they
what,
probably
what
gotta-
they're,
probably gotta
what they're
deal
doing
with
for
the,
windows.
Probably
Because
gonna
I
deal
haven't
with
gotten
the
any answers
Yeah,
National Grid.
rebates or something, maybe.
on what they're doing. And I noticed, I took pictures of the windows because,
So these are,
Yeah.
these are 6/6, it looks like. here.
Yeah.
I can't tell, I can't zoom.
yes,
hard to-
they
Yeah,
are.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, I could zoom because I stood
You
in
took
front
your
of
own
the house and
pictures.
took
Yeah, she took
pictures.
pictures.
Oh, she's got
Yeah,
Better pictures.
6/6.
'Cause
I mean, they did a lovely job on the renovation, so I would like to hope that they would do, proper
Appropriate
windows,
windows.
proper windows.
So how did this get to us to
something
begin
like a
with?
12/12.
Yeah.
Is there a restriction on this property? There's
No,
nothing.
that was the question.
Question was there any restriction?
Right, and my reply
And we
was, there is no
replied back.
restriction on that particular property, but it is in the only National Historic Registry district in this town, and he apparently didn't think anything about this at all. And my response to that was, he worked for Newburyport for years, he should be well aware of situations involving historic homes in historic registries.
What date do we have on that?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, I'm sorry.
That house was built in like 1762
So it
Tucker,
fits our
Reverend
our
Tucker's
criteria
house.
for an automatic review.
Well,
Way
yeah,
early he
it
built that.
would be for demo, but they're not demoing the house.
They're renting a dumpster?
They are if they're taking the windows out of it.
They're doing work on the attic, that was how the whole thing, and then it says replacement windows was like kind of thrown in there, but my assumption was they were gonna fix the windows in the attic, not replace all the windows in the house.
Yeah, so we just need for them to clarify, I guess.
So, I still have no answers, although I
Well,
did
being that
print
it's a
off.
house on the upper green, I'd say it's significant.
I did print out, and not only that, but the people are from Newburyport, so they
Oh.
should be well aware of how to treat a house that's on a historic.
Yeah, they do good work. I know that guy from my kid's school. Hope I see him at night.
Order windows per approved order, which has been viewed in detail with the owner, and all sizes double checked by the builder, so that doesn't tell me anything,
Yeah.
but I don't know what else I can do about that,
Nothing else we can do.
so.
Okay.
I've done as much diligence, I guess, as I can do, and until I get another reply from town hall.
So they didn't need to get a demolition permit to tear out the old windows throughout the house and put in new ones?
No,
Okay.
they filed the building permit to do work on the attic and replace the windows.
And they didn't need a demolition permit to do that?
Right.
It's a
Sam-
building permit, it's not a
Yeah.
demolition permit.
Oh.
The problem is that, we've had this before, what does the term demolition mean?
When you use
tearing
the
an
back,
entire
when you
thing
use the
off.
back of the hammer instead of the front of it. That's demolition.
So, I mean, Sam considered it, if you got a dumpster, you were demoing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What, yeah.
so,
Will there be a dumpster there? Unless
but
they
there isn't
pull
one
the
yet.
And then
windows
you have
out
guys who
one
just
at
use
a
the back
time.
of their pickup truck and they don't ever get a dumpster.
And Sam's not here,
Yeah.
So-
Things disappear. We've all seen those.
so that's all I can tell you.
Okay.
That's all I got on it, so. And I would like us to look at our current demolition delay bylaw and see if we can't up
Make it
the
better.
ante. And I have lots of examples, so at some point, maybe we'll just have like a little, we can have a
work
a
session.
working
Yeah,
thing
'cause
on
if there's
that.
no demolition permit, I don't see where the bylaw applies.
Okay, so we're talking about the demolition
general.
delay bylaw
Yeah,
now.
right.
In
not
general, not as
per
it pertains to One Hanover.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about anything.
Yeah,
And the only thing we have control over is the bottom line on the demolition permit.
Right.
Okay. So, there you go.
Yeah.
If there's no demolition permit, we're not involved.
Right.
right. But it's the wording of the demolition delay bylaw that sometimes affects things. That other towns have found this to be a problem
Yeah.
because
Is there a better way for us to word it?
there's a better way to
Beneficial?
word it, and what
Well,
other
what's-
definitive
Did
explanations
you
of
pull up
words.
what the paragraph was as far as what's considered demolition? The amount of work? It says something in
It's a
there.
percentage, I think, right? Isn't it usually?
No, it depends. You mean hours?
No,
Ours is a
what
conglomeration of
makes
about
it
5
applicable?
towns.
What amount of work? Because it's not only demolishing an entire house, but a specific amount.
I thought it was like percentage of the property, so like if you did
I
something.
think it said significant,
Maybe I'm remembering something else that's like that.
It's been 10 years, I don't remember.
No, I remember on mine, it was like if you do certain amount,
Oh, I
that's
meant
like
on the
over.
bylaw, yeah. We tore like a building down on mine, I don't know if we got a demolition permit or not.
Back when you did it?
When we did
Yeah,
ours.
'cause there's probably no one
But
paying
I don't
attention
know,
then.
I mean, my builder knows, but I don't.
Yeah.
And then there was definitely a dumpster out there. But I don't, even if it said 1 Hanover Street in the bylaw, if there's no demolition permit,
Yeah.
that's the only thing we
Nothing
have
triggers
control
us.
over.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
I mean, most of them are about tearing down a part of or the entire building,
Right, that's what we were built it for. I mean,
you know.
yeah.
So
Keep somebody from buying a house and bulldozing it the
this
next morning.
one from Harvard is the demolition, any act of pulling down, destroying, removing, or raising a building or more than 25% of a
Yeah.
single facade or any significant architectural or structural feature visible from the exterior of the building. So this is very specific. I don't think ours is quite this specific,
So
which is.
our definition in our bylaw is demolition, any act of pulling down, destroying, removing, raising, or dismantling a structure or any portion thereof, or act of total or substantial destruction of any structure or any portion thereof.
The back of the hammer.
The back of the hammer, depends on what kind of hammer.
Yeah,
What page did you find that on?
Full text of the bylaw.
And, yeah.
that's it. What page you wanted that?
Star next to
Page
it.
5 of 10.
5 of 10, right there. Demolition permit.
Well,
So the real question is, what does the town's regulations say about when do you need a demolition permit?
it's in our, the only thing is what's in our bylaw. There's nothing in the town.
Well,
town
somebody
doesn't
makes a
have an ordinance
decision that
about
you need a
what-
demolition
what-
permit.
Well, they get them,
Uh,
but when they have to get a building permit, anything to do with a building permit.
Yeah, we're just assuming that people are being
So
honest
if
when
you're
they fill out
gonna-
the paperwork.
Take off a, part of your porch railing, then you have to get a building permit.
Yeah, got that.
So,
Where's the demolition permit?
If you're gonna remove the porch, then you need a demolition permit instead of the porch rail.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a matter of degrees, and I think it's
Are
pretty
there
subjective.
two piles? You pull a building permit and a demolition permit?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like clicking. Well, that's my point about people being honest,
I'm
like they
just-
have to be honest and actually fill out the paperwork correctly. That's ideally, right? Because a lot of it's just,
But you would think the building inspector reviewing the building permit would,
no one even
you know,
thought
get
that.
triggered
You-
to
I
say,
think
hey,
so.
you need a demolition
you still need
permit.
this
Yeah.
too. Yeah, that's my point. Like, you're just hoping that
Right.
everyone's doing the due diligence.
Yep.
Again, unless somebody pulls a building permit, there's nothing we can do.
Right.
Here's the
Demolition
building permit
I
for
meant
one
demolition.
Hanover, right here.
Okay.
All right, just 'cause
And-
I just
and-
happen to
and-
have it.
And I don't, you want to bet there's no place for us to sign on this?
Well, we have to be triggered to sign on it.
Huh?
It has to get triggered for us to get it, to sign on it. Meaning Channing and I, either one of us will get an email
Yeah.
that we have to go in to Permit Link.
Yep.
And it can't be approved until everybody who's supposed to ticks the box off and it changes color.
And so that's another document that has a place for a signature panel for us.
All of this stuff is done electronically.
Okay. But,
That's
but it's a Word document or
electronic.
it's a PDF, it's got a page. Right.
That went in your hand, yeah. This is the building permit in your hand. It's done electronically
Yeah,
in the system.
okay. Where do we sign?
Nowhere.
Where do we approve? We don't hit the.
Not on that.
Electronically on Permit Link,
Yeah,
we approve
So it's
there.
it's, okay,
In-
great.
in the
I didn't-
interwebs.
I didn't see anything.
yeah.
There-
But this one's not for us, because it's not, there's no more, yeah.
We, being Historical Commission, will get an email to say
Yeah.
that it has been tagged for us to approve.
Okay,
It's all electronic now,
okay.
so it's,
So she just sends it to Channing and he goes yes or no. We never see it.
well, no, we would see it. We would bring it up. We
Well,
would
right.
have a meeting about it because it might affect the demolition delay bylaw.
Right, but I'm just saying.
Some people are demolishing a house, or demolishing, like, say, the back porch of a house that was built in 2004. We don't really aren't terribly
Right.
concerned about that. If it was built in 1904, we might be a little more concerned. If it was
Depends
built
on
in
where it is.
1804, then
1830.
bing, bing, bing.
Right.
It-
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I thought we had an 1830 cutoff,
20,
1820?
I thought it was 1820.
It was his.
Because it's 100 years, wasn't it 100 years?
No, that's the problem. We need
We need
to
to make it
change
longer.
them.
Yeah.
No, we need to get rid of the year and do number of years. Like any house that's older
Than
than
100 years old.
25 years.
Yeah, I like that.
Older than 50 years,
Yeah.
because,
Then it moves with us.
because the best
Yeah.
example I can
Yeah.
have with this is the house on 1A, it's a modern house that's past, I think it's just past the Public Works garage
Yep,
area.
On the same side.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
the same side. And it's like the only house like it in town.
Right.
There are no other
Yep.
It's the
examples
one
of
with
that.
the big wraparound porch. on it.
So this modern home is the only example we have of this home, which makes it significant,
Right.
which would trigger the demolition delay bylaw. But we specifically have also marked off of the thing that it's 18, 20 or older, or of significant,
Yeah.
Right.
so I would
Yeah, yeah.
rather just get rid of the actual date
Data and move,
and
yeah.
give us a year
Right,
thing,
which would give us a
because,
moving date going
Right.
forward.
Yeah.
yeah. So if it's 50 years or older, so we could go back to 250
Yeah,
years,
so like
or,
1970s.
yeah. So I don't know when that house was built, probably in the 60s, maybe, 1960s?
Yeah.
Probably.
It looks
yeah.
it.
So,
They were doing some awful things in the
I mean,
60s.
in
And 70s.
things
I was
get
born in-
triggered for different reasons, like, if that's the only house there is, so it's a significant
Yeah.
thing, so it'll trigger the bylaw. But it's,
Okay.
but
I like
not.
that.
But the way the bylaw is now, or the way our our jurisdiction is set up now, if we had a Frank Lloyd Wright house
Well, yes, well, I was actually
in
thinking of
Newbury,
that.
we couldn't do a thing about it.
There's a
Well,
house
because
of that
that's
era in
significant-
Hamilton. Yeah.
Right, but
If
it's,
if all they were
but
gonna
it's
do is
post-1820.
put a new roof on
But
it,
it's,
or
you
build it
know, there's a
up twice
caveat
as
in
high.
there, or
Isn't that
if it's
tearing
a
anything down?
significant,
Yeah.
there's an
Depends,
or
yeah.
in there.
I still don't understand how we get called in.
Prior to 1820.
Are you still on the
It's listed
permit?
I don't understand how we get called in.
Because the permit gets done by you. You're gonna take off
Yep,
your front porch. You have to get a building
Okay.
permit.
Right.
You have to describe exactly what you're gonna do.
Right.
You have to put the information about your house on here.
right.
The building inspection department has a list of all the houses that are on the National Registry or are in
Okay.
Macris.
That one's easy. Okay.
And, or anything that's older to, you know, by the demolition delay bylaw, they're supposed to click a box that will then send an email to Channing and I, because either one of us can go in and approve it, but we wouldn't just go in and approve it, unless it's
Obvious.
obvious, yeah.
Yeah.
But
then we have- bring
basically,
it to
we have a
meeting.
meeting, even if we
Right.
call an emergency meeting, which we've done
Done,
before,
yeah.
and we will talk about it and see what we can do about it, and if we don't approve it, technically, the permit is not supposed to be issued until it's qualified. So electronically, we tick a box that says, we agree, go ahead and issue the
So
permit.
the answer to my question then is, all it takes is a building permit to trigger our involvement.
Right, and that's what I kept saying.
Yep.
She did.
Yeah.
But you were hoping.
Multiple times.
You were hoping for more info.
No, I
No, there was the,
wrote the stupid thing
there
and I
was the
don't even know how
question
to
between
apply
the
it.
building permit and the demolition permit.
Yeah.
Do we need a demolition permit for the demolition?
We do.
That's
what I
We
thought.
have a
Well, that's
demolition
not the same as a
delay
building permit.
bylaw material that has to be filled out if if it's triggered. And we say, oh, no, we gotta go through the whole process with this house, like the one right next to the town
Even if
hall.
they don't fill out a demolition permit.
It depends on what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
They're doing a building permit.
Hence they need to be honest when they're filling out the
But see,
forms.
you're confusing the word building with creating.
No,
What number was
no,
that?
no, I'm confusing the word
The
building
structure.
permit with a demolition
No, well,
permit.
because it has to
Demolition
go through the building
What's considered,
department.
apply, would it apply to?
So anything that goes
significant,
through with this,
1.9,
it's just a building regulations and standards, it's a building permit to construct, repair, renovate, or demolish.
Ah, so
It's
it's just a
right here.
box.
Yeah.
Building permit application to repair, construct, renovate, or demolish a one- or two-family dwelling.
So
You have
it's
to
the same
fill out
permit.
Well,
this
no one in their
form.
right mind would click demolish. Oh, anyway.
Well, a lot of people are.
Yeah,
They
one
bought the-
Main Street,
Yeah.
Oh, unless they're gonna push it over, right?
It's gone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's demolished.
Yeah, I know.
Although people have demolished porches that should not have been demolished because nobody contacted
Yeah,
us.
and they just did it.
The house right in front of, right at before you turn down the street to go to the dump. And, what is that, Forest Street? What's the street now?
Boston?
Hay Street,
Yeah,
Boston Road.
Boston. But, so it's off the, is that Green Street?
Green Street, Boston. yeah.
In Boston, that the house that's on the left-hand side if you're coming from the mall, the Upper Green, and you take a right onto the dump, that house right there, they took a whole back thing off
And
him
that was early.
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 And we were
They
never
took the
notified
only-
of that.
There was only one little piece of that original house left.
And that
little
was it.
kitchen, and that's what they took.
Really?
So that's the
And it
bottom
was gone
line,
before anybody
Yeah,
knew
it
it.
was just gone.
which is why
1642.
Channing and I are supposed to be
geez.
looking
Because
at it
when he
every
moved in
week.
there, that property, but I'm not sure he built the house.
We haven't had any sort of building permits for One Main, right? Because they're definitely like clearing a lot.
We did a long
Well, right,
time
but like
ago.
nothing else has come up since the house has been, or the property's been torn down, right?
Not that I know
Because they're
of.
tearing down a lot of trees and really
Yep.
clearing it, so I can tell that eventually they're gonna start,
Oh, that's the one across from my son's house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. That's all cleared out now.
yeah, I hear it all day long, because I'm like, I hear like the machinery and stuff, and I'm like, oh, they really are just butchering that
Last
area.
month when I was in here.
I'm trying to
That was a
wonder,
lot bigger piece of property than I thought.
well, I think they're
Yeah.
gonna try to put 3 houses there.
I was
Oh, my.
surprised at
Yeah.
the size of the lot,
We did
yeah.
that was-
Yeah, no, the goal was for
I
at
don't
least
have-
2 to 3
I
houses,
sent it out
once they
to
took down one.
And there was still,
Right,
I went
I'll
by
figure it.
last week, there was still a stack of windows out there.
It's literally a list.
The, you know, the lattice
Oh,
windows.
Yeah.
broken down.
I'm surprised
It's
because
a list
Northeast Architectural went in and cleared the whole house out, so
Yeah.
it must have been
Assessors
just junk,
back.
because they usually take everything.
So it's like the address of the house. and
Que
the
sera.
year it was
Right.
built and whatever, and then.
So where in here does it
Okay,
say
they have all that in one spot.
if it's partial? If it's, I understand the structure part, but what number, where in the text of the bylaw does it say
You just read it a second.
Any act of, so 1.6,
1.6?
definition of demolition. Any act of pulling down, destroying, removing, raising, or dismantling a structure or any portion thereof.
Okay.
Hence why we probably should go through this again someday as AV.
Well, I guarantee you that I was very careful in choosing the words. It was very liberal
Well, we also.
with declaring significance.
We also, in the middle of the whole thing, is when Chris died, when we, and he
When
was
we
the
were
one that
doing it?
he was the one that had everything on his computer.
Right.
Yeah, well,
And-
he had the examples there, a whole bunch of
No,
them.
we had pulled them from all the other surrounding
Yeah,
towns.
right.
This
Yeah.
was, how many years ago? 20 years ago?
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
worth an
lot longer
update.
than you think it is. That's the
Yeah.
funny part. It's like, when did we prove that thing?
All right.
So I took that over when
2014.
he left, huh? Or was I working with him? I can't remember.
We were all working on it,
We were all working on it, okay.
and we were getting, because we had just changed the cover picture, and because I think originally he had, like blueprints on it, and we decided that didn't really make a big enough impact of the fact that we were trying to tell people you're gonna lose everything we own for buildings, and changed it into a, front-end loader or something with a claw, you
Excavator.
know.
Excavator.
Yeah, so, yeah,
Yeah.
because we were doing that next door.
Hey, oh,
Yeah.
That,
let's see.
that's the new
Oh, yeah.
one. The old one looked very esoteric. It did not look like it was
All right.
screaming, glaring, horrible things,
Our
okay?
kids at a dance, so I'm.
So we're good, did we
Okay.
beat this to
That's
death
it
now?
for correspondence?
Well, I don't know, I can't.
Oh, I'm on the list yet, stuff to do. Oh,
Wait a
this is,
minute, hold on,
yeah.
let me make sure. Well, you know what, go ahead, Lon, and I'll double check.
Okay, update from Lon on the Lower Historic District Study Committee. So we met twice last month, and I had written a study plan actually for the whole study, for
Yeah.
everything. And during the first meeting, we went over the first two parts of it. It's 3 parts. You know, the first 2 parts, reworded it, moved things around, did it right there in the meeting. So
Yeah.
we literally, at the end of the meeting, it was done, and we got together in 2 weeks instead of waiting a month and did the last part of it. And in the end, we changed the document that we now have accepted as far as our study plan. We changed that to a study plan for the study report, which I was fighting. So I'm going to have, basically I'll have to have 2 study plans now. One for what we're going to do before we write the report, and the one for the study report. So there's we're going to have a bunch of information gathering meetings and information exchange meetings and things like this before we actually start working on the thing. But we've got a study plan, and so I went to the, and people are, I'm going to work on the significance section, and then I mentioned that you'd be interested in working on that on the indigenous
Yep.
section up in front, the first paragraphs. And what was I going to say? Oh, and I went in and I'm set up. I had been set up for I think this next week's board. We're going to present the study plan to the select board and to the planning committee. So I'll have to have 2 meetings. I'm going to do the select board first. And they said okay, and then they came back and it'll be the next meeting after that. So that's kind of the status, that's where we are. We, Bethany, what's her last name at the list?
Golf.
I know, I always say golf
It
too.
is on our, yeah, this is on our, has joined, we lost a person and she's joined the study committee, and we were supposed to take her on site walk today, like we did, when the whole group did a couple months ago. And then we called it because of the weather. So we're gonna do it, I'll have to look, I think it's
Next week's
Monday.
nice, yeah.
We're gonna do it Monday. So that's kind of the status. We're moving along. People have raised their hands for different sections, what they're gonna work on.
Good.
And we can bring outsiders in, anything we wanna do to help with this. It's all volunteer. We have no budget. Then one thing we're planning on doing is, we're doing a survey, and we have the survey to go out to every property owner in the town, everybody that potentially could come in and vote on this and be involved later on, so that they know what's going on. And
Is it a survey or more of an informational port?
it's a survey, because it's not information exchange. There's a little paragraph in front that says what this is for. But it's, what do you think about this? What would you think of having, should we have a local historic district in Newbury? Blah, 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 things like that, just getting opinions. It's very short, it's in about 8 questions. And it's mostly to get a read on what we're facing. You know, because it's got to pass by 2/3 at the town meeting, after we put a year and a half to 2 years into it. And then it lives or dies at that meeting.
I would like to think that people
I
would
would,
be
I don't think
positive
you're gonna
about
have
it.
any opposition unless
Yeah.
it's from the people that are, you know,
In the neighborhood.
in the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
As
that's-
long as they're
That's what I'm
on board.
hoping, I'm hoping. I go to enough meetings that I know that's not true.
Yeah.
So,
There's always
and
somebody
we just
who's
want,
gonna
we don't
jump
want
up
to
and be
surprise
opposed to
anybody,
everything.
and we want everybody to
You'd
know
like to
what we're
think
doing.
that people wouldn't
We want to
oppose
know
it,
it's the
keeping
lower
it nice.
green
Yeah.
local historic district. We want to make it clear and
Oh, but
make
that's
it
a
clear
slippery
that
slope.
we're not
Somebody
telling.
yelled at me for calling it the Lower Green because they were like, I'm like, well, it's the one with the schoolhouse. And they're like, that's not the schoolhouse. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because they were talking about the yellow schoolhouse and the
Oh.
upper green. And I'm like, that's
Oh.
not what we're talking about. And I was like, all right, not
Yeah,
fighting people. please.
everybody thinks it's the upper green when I talk to them too.
Lon, and on your flyer, don't use the abbreviation LG, whatever it is.
Write it out for people.
Write it out,
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
because it's confusing as all hell. There's
Yeah.
too many abbreviations in
Right.
the world as it is.
Happy.
You need, and make sure that, like she just said, make sure it's clear.
Yeah.
Who,
Which
what,
one?
where, why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 important things they taught you in college.
If you don't live here, you won't be affected.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
one of the reasons we do this and we find out that, well, there's a lot of questions on Plum Island. There's a lot of
Yeah.
questions in Byfield on this thing. We'll go and have another meeting in Byfield. We'll have a second one so that we can answer these questions. Everybody on the committee is worried about getting it through the state, you know, getting it approved. This place is 7 years after Plymouth. They're gonna put it through unless
Yeah.
we say something stupid. I mean, they're gonna okay this.
I can't imagine.
But
Again, it's
that
like,
doesn't
why?
gonna do us any good if we can't get it through the town meeting. So that's what I said, everything I have in my outline, everything I say in the meetings, everything is to make sure that we can sell it at the town meeting. Because that's where it's gonna live or die.
People are gonna get the postcard, and they're gonna expend 3 seconds when they're
Yeah.
sorting it as they're picking out of their mail. Bold print at the top,
Yeah,
exactly who, what, where, why.
yeah.
You guys have a Facebook page? You might want to have a social presence online so you can then start like putting it in local town groups and get a discussion going that way. Because
Nothing.
to be honest, the postcard, I sent out my save the date as a postcard and most of my family threw them away. And it's a
Yeah.
picture of my face on it.
Yeah.
I think that they would, you know,
Frame it.
they thought it was junk mail and they just tossed it. They like didn't even get the save the date. Granted, that was 15 years ago, but still. People like,
I'd be
check their
I'd
mail
be
as
happy
much.
if we get 1 in 10 back.
well, I'm just saying though, is you could,
Yeah.
whatever you put on the postcard,
Yeah.
you could just make like a, you know, a post that you could have circulating on social media and you might get more people and more discussion going that way.
So one of the references, if we had a Facebook page or
Yeah.
account or whatever.
And just
whatever
have-
you get.
just
Well, that could
repeat-
be another link.
Just, yeah, because I'm telling you, you can get a hot topic on Facebook and you'll get
You'll
100
run
different
more,
people
right.
talking about it and it'll create
Yeah.
lots of buzz.
Yeah, the main reason for the survey, though, is to see what we're gonna, you know, are we swimming upstream or
Who
downstream?
we need to convince, yeah.
Yeah.
Who we need to convince.
Right,
yeah.
or where we need to spend most of our time explaining what we're doing.
Yeah.
Good
That's-
luck.
Yeah,
I mean, ironically, we were terrified when we went for the demolition delay bylaw.
Yeah.
To- in
The
front of the
first
town.
meeting. And, because it was like, oh, this is just, nobody's
Remember when
gonna.
we set the date? We were afraid to
We
go
were
anything further
terrified.
than 1824.
And ironically, they had the meeting at the elementary school, but it was in that little theatery
Yep.
with the,
Auditorium.
The
Yeah.
drum,
Yep.
yeah.
so I'm like, we were all sweating bullets. And then the people ask questions like, so does this mean I can't paint my house? No, has nothing to do with painting your house. And then somebody else asked another question, very generic-y like that, and we said, no, it has absolutely nothing to do with that. And we explained again, and it went up, the first vote, we were
Yeah.
like, woohoo, did that really happen?
Yeah.
Because we were waiting for all
Well,
the
it's
people to
common
start
sense.
screaming.
Yes,
And
it's
the,
common
and the
sense.
board, the board passed it unanimously. Remember, we ran it by them, and it was
Yeah.
unanimous.
'Cause
But it
just-
was right after the school budget was approved.
But it
and they
was
were just
also
sweating
right
bullets
after
over
Henry
that.
Becker's house was sold and torn down, and the Bushy estate had been
Yeah,
decimated.
that,
So
That
it was
affects
a
people.
very
One little lane
effective
was the final,
thing.
one little lane there was the one that
Push
pushed it
people.
through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, Becker's house.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, okay.
All
right, let's get
That's where we
moving.
lived. That's
get
not what
moving.
it was called, it was where we lived.
Sons and
it.
daughters,
Okay, so
Eva?
that's where we are.
Sons and daughters have requested that I let them know when the schoolhouse is open. They'd like to coordinate their efforts up at the Lower Green with the schoolhouse being open. So I just told them I would let them know, like Sales and Trails and whatever. And I would accommodate them anyway, if they needed it open for something special, I could be there.
Sure.
So that's all that was. The only other thing, and I don't see here, was that one High Road, to change the macros. I
Well, I saw that, so.
emailed them and asked them,
Business.
I emailed them and asked them for more
There it is.
documentation on their research. I thought the research was really well, but the state's looking for deeds, maps, whatever. So I asked them to provide that if they had it, and also an updated photo.
Is that,
And then I can learn how to even do the form.
is that up by the Upper Green? It's right on the corner?
Right on the corner of
I've
Marlboro.
got some old maps of the Upper Green area.
No,
And-
this is
and-
on
and-
Marlboro,
and-
on the corner of Marlboro
Yeah.
and Hyde.
Yeah, it's one of.
Is it on
is
there?
that the
No.
White House?
It's yellow.
The yellow?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
If
it's
I
like right
remember, I'll send you
across
those
from
maps.
That'd be
Sweater-
great.
Yeah,
Leslie House.
because they're just
Oh,
some more
okay.
maps, just maps of the
It's
Upper
the
Green.
actual beginning.
Like right,
I don't think
Just
they
The
show that
schoolhouse is
side.
on it, and
But
so
they
it's
don't show
old.
that high up, do they show all the way to the line,
Yeah,
Marlboro Street,
yeah. Well, I'm not sure where that is.
Marlboro?
Marlboro, I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah, the house is right on the corner of
Yeah, right.
Marlboro and
It's where the Sweatersley house is.
across the street.
It's right across.
Okay.
It's the
And-
tavern.
I know which one the house is, yeah.
Okay.
And she said they've had a sign on there, 1795 forever, even though the town said it was 18 something. But anyway,
Because
I just
it's
asked.
just gonna be a box, it's not gonna,
She
it'll be a
mentions
house
deeds,
there.
so I'm hoping, she's got the deed numbers that'll help. And, I don't know, I
I'll
don't
look for
think
those.
there'll be any trouble changing it, because like I said, her research was really good. There was a lot of it.
Okay, schoolhouse roof and the alarm, I haven't done anything else on those yet. Maps in the attic were brought down.
Yeah. I was
So
surprised
are
how
those
many
maps for the
there were.
walls?
They're roll-up maps, like the one that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're
They're
just
paper,
different subject
though.
matter.
They're paper,
Right.
where the
That
ours
was,
is
they were gonna
linen.
be brought down, gonna be brought down, gonna be brought down.
They're
But
down.
they were down,
Yeah.
Okay,
so.
so
We just-
are we gonna examine them to see if we're gonna hang them, any of them?
I think we should.
Yeah, I think we should too. There was at least one cloth backed, right?
Yep,
Oh, there was, I didn't see
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah, there was.
Oh, good,
there were 3 or 4 of them that we brought down.
yeah,
And they're in the file cabinet room,
in that falcon.
because that's the old bathroom.
One of them, the other one had a sink in it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have. the
Unfinished
research.
business, Lon, this is on your list, was the fire extinguishers. You still got that on your to-do list somewhere?
Yep, somewhere. I just,
All right, Jan's gonna give a report
Home Depot
on
run.
Great Marsh Symposium she went to over
Right.
at Dobbs.
Actually, that's why
I went to that, yeah.
I said we should just,
Yeah, how was that?
It was good, I thought.
Yeah.
It was good. It would have been nice for us to have had a little input on that building, and if they did any, what kind of site work they did before they built, because that's a significant area.
It's right on the river. Yeah.
That's right where the first boats in Newbury were built,
Yeah.
and I don't remember hearing nothing.
yeah, we did, a long time ago, when they first talked about it. We were notified.
Were we notified? Or we just know about it?
We were told,
We were
yes.
notified.
Because
I can look
that's
back.
a really, I was hoping to see something out there about the area and what kind of, what kind of research they did before they built, but there was nothing,
Interesting.
nothing. That's too bad. And I think that Rich's Indigenous peoples piece is much better than the one we saw here.
Really?
Sorry, but I do. I wasn't impressed
The guy,
at all.
he never once mentioned the salt marsh. It's like, that's what you're here to talk about.
Yeah.
You talk
Weird.
about everything else.
No, very vague.
Yeah,
I mean, anybody could have come to the conclusions he did.
yep.
It was so vague, but it just makes yours stand out a little more.
I don't know, I always feel sometimes that these things are,
But the rest of it
Fluff.
was,
Oh, they had some-
no, it was really good. It
Yeah.
was
Was
good.
it?
That was the only one that was kind of off.
okay.
But the rest of them, and the facility is beautiful.
Oh, the facility is
What a
incredible.
wonder.
Yeah.
To die, this is for a high school.
I mean, it was like,
Oh,
for some
just-
reason, it was just like Murphy's Law Day, for that, this didn't work, that didn't work.
Oh, yeah.
Right, it was
They burned out the
real.
bulb in the projector.
Oh, it was one of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, it
Murphy's
was
Law
just,
Day.
and I
Oh.
felt badly because it's like, oh my God. like-
Bethany did a good job of keeping it moving.
Yep,
Yeah.
so they
Yeah.
kept people
She's
talking in
good.
between pots and everything to keep it going, so, but it was very interesting to
The
learn
guy-
about
the guy who
the
told
Great Marsh
about
itself and,
the actual changes they made to the marsh to efficiently farm the salt marsh hay.
Yeah.
You know, cutting the dikes and putting up the mounds and all that stuff, that was really interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
yeah. I knew some of it just from reading different things from here, but, yeah, it was really the destruction
Yeah.
of the flow
Yeah.
that you don't think about.
No, and-
It's the same thing we did with the Everglades, the
salt
Corps of
marsh
Engineers
farm.
did at the Everglades.
Oh, they should never straightened out that whole thing.
Well,
What a
it's-
mess that made.
You can't, yeah, the
Yeah.
Everglades, you can't put it back together again, because they planted sugar cane on it, and to harvest sugar cane, you burn it. And when they burned it, they burned the peat.
Yeah.
So now, if you reflood that area, put the marsh back in there, the water's too deep for marsh grass to grow.
Yeah.
So, oh, God,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I worked on that program, that was incredible.
it's just the things that you don't, that seem like a good idea at the time.
Right.
I mean, how
Well,
many
it got
things,
rid of the
how many
mosquitoes.
times do
That
we
was
do that?
before.
Do we all do that? It's like, well, it seemed like a good idea at the time to, change that over, and now I can't put it back, so what are you
Yeah.
gonna do, I mean?
Yeah, well, you also
I
gotta think about what's next door.
Jetty
and
there
how
at
it's
the end of the
affecting-
Merrimack
But people
probably
didn't
should
do
property.
that.
be at the
Well, I
time.
mean, like what they're doing now. in
Well,
that
now
marsh.
it's a little more,
Definitely
everybody's a little
ruining where I
more
am.
spatially
Really?
aware of the world, I
Track the
think,
water
but,
off the high road. The fresh water comes off the high road so intensely and flows down through Shorts Hollow out to Newman Road.
Mm-hmm.
But where they've,
Fix Newman Road, is that screwed everything up or no?
with the work they're doing on the marsh there, to me, looks like there's more brackish water being held back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can see
But
it.
it really shouldn't all be going in there to begin with, but it is.
Okay.
And it's not flowing back up because they've stuffed everything to try to build it up. That's, I've asked
Well,
them
what-
twice, why don't you come, get in touch with
One
your
of the
neighbors?
things they wanna do
I
is
want to
they-
help it too.
They want the sediment to come in, and they want the sediment to
Right,
settle
but you
out.
also want that water coming
Yeah.
off the high road. I
Yeah.
mean, my driveway is unpassable, flooded,
Yeah.
completely over because of all the water that comes off the high
Because it
road
doesn't
right
come
there.
back. Yeah.
And it goes right to Newman Road. It goes through that Shorts Hollow
Yeah.
to Newman Road, only you can't get out anymore. It seems like it's more brackish, salt ponds are getting bigger.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Change it.
But we're getting the rain, I mean, the water amounts we're getting.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of factors, but I don't know how I can help it. I wish they had said to their neighbors, we're doing this restoration project. You know, you want to get on board? Because then we all would have been on board, and it would have flowed
Right.
better, because right now, that water's being trapped.
You know how much rain we're getting?
Right, with all the rain.
The CSOs in Merrimack River, the raw sewage
Mm-hmm.
going in, the highest it has ever been is 800,000 gallons a year. And, a million gallons a year. And this year, we're estimating 1.4 to 1.6 billion gallons of raw sewage went into the Merrimack.
Wow.
We're not done yet, we got November.
Oh, how are those
Yum.
fried clams?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why the beaches were closed so much, you know, the swimming beaches and stuff.
I haven't eaten
awful.
fried clam, and I
So-
can't tell you how long.
So I haven't been standing
I
in line to
love
get oysters, clams.
All right.
On that note,
Yeah.
Anything else before the board, before we adjourn?
Okay, quickly, I found a newspaper thing in the file cabinet. I'm just showing it because I just thought it was.
In the school?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was cool. It's from 1982, and it's a lovely picture of our green in the
It's
snow.
recent.
hey, look at
Isn't
that.
that pretty?
Oh, it's perfect.
How charming. So yellow.
What is it, just introducing people to it?
No, just a picture.
No, oh, just a picture?
Just a
Okay.
picture. I was looking for the article that went with it. No,
Just a charming picture to fill the space.
feel the space, but you know, it was the Essex County newspaper from Saturday, January
Buffalo Bill Legends.
2, 1982. Buffalo Bill legend revived by museum.
It's Buffalo Bill Legend.
Buffalo Bill Wild West show is returned to Brooklyn for the first time. Hey,
Get-
as I said,
Good stuff.
So-
very interesting picture.
So I'm on this group called ACES, and we just voted in a new board member, and his name is Ian Hitchcock. And I asked him, boy, that's an unusual name. He says, yes, I'm related.
Wow.
To Wild Bill,
Wild Bill, yeah.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
8:25.